How you doing, guys? This is Coach Tix Rembert, DFW Penguin Basketball, Penguinhoops.com. If you guys are watching this video, go ahead and hit the like button. It helps the channel grow. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And today, we're going to talk about a topic that I see a lot with youth sports, is the parent that overly trains their kid. Now, as a parent, when you see your kid is talented at something or they want to pursue something, whether it be piano classes, whether it be football, baseball, singing in the choir, playing the saxophone, depending on your background from handling that sport or playing that instrument or whatever, or just what type of person you are, period, you will either push your kid a lot, a little bit, or none at all, just depending on how you feel about it. There are different levels of it, but today we're going to talk about the parent that does way too much or focuses too much on the sport. Now, we can get really deep into why a parent would want to do this, and there's nothing wrong with it, but at some point it can become toxic. Okay, some parents don't realize that they're getting wrapped up in doing too much or having their kid engage in too much physical activity in the sport, or becoming, just doing way too much at a young age. I've seen parents to where they got a 9-year-old son or a 10-year-old daughter, and they're taking a yoga class for flexibility, and they're taking weight training class with no weights, and doing all this random wild stuff. Now, it's different when a kid wants to do that, but when you're forcing them, it's totally different. And if you have a kid, he's 12 years old, and he's doing workouts like he's training for the NBA Combine at 12, and you got him doing all this stuff, and you're forcing him or persuading him or making the kid feel guilty about not wanting to do these activities because you feel like that's what they need to do. You feel like that's what they need to do. It's the wrong thing to do as a parent. The big thing is you don't want to get a kid burnt out to the point they stop liking playing sports in the 9th grade. They just totally lost it, and they don't have the feel of fun when they play it. Of course, playing sports and getting better is a lot of hard work, and it's going to take more than just going to practice and playing for your team and going to your team practice, of course, but you don't want your kid to be burnt out or associate bad memories of overworking, overtraining, and things of that nature affiliated with you as a parent. So today we're going to talk about my suggestion. Of course, some of you guys may say, oh, Coach Rembert, you don't have any kids, but I've been around so many different kids and seen so many different situations with, friends of my own, parents in my program, the friends that I have, their kids overly training them, and a lot of times they get wrapped up in it because either they're trying to chase some ghost of the NBA or NFL or baseball, MLB, baseball, golf, whatever. You're trying to chase some pro ghost that's not there, or they had mistakes that they had as a child or as a kid playing sports, and they're trying to make sure their kid doesn't have the same mistake. And a lot of times it's really easy to get caught up in it and wrapped up in it. And the main thing I want to give you guys advice, okay, you may be watching this and you say, hey, you know what? My kid needs to be pushed. He won't do it unless unless I tell him to. She won't go to the volleyball court and work on her hitting, her serve, unless I tell her to. Okay. Now, it's a difference between a push and overly doing. A push is asking, and the best thing I would do if I had a child, okay, or even with my players, and I know they can do a lot better. I know they can put in more. The main thing I like to do is say, hey, do you think you should be working on your jump shot some more? Hey, do you think you should be getting up more shots? Hey, after practice, do you want to work on this? And if they tell me no, it's cool. And that's how you should approach it as a parent. You don't want to make it seem like it's work, because as a parent, you don't understand and you don't see that you telling your kid to hold his follow through on his jump shot. You think you're helping them. A lot of kids think of it as a chore. Like you tell them to hold their father is like cleaning up their room when it gets to a certain point, because they had the dynamic of you being their father or you being their mother. Okay, the same way as they have a bad game, you're riding home, it's like, hey, when we get home, you're gonna shoot 100 shots in the backyard. It's like this kid may not even be over, the loss, and they may not even want to deal with playing the sport right now. and you're forcing them to do that. So you tell them to do that is not making them want to do it even more. Or like I always tell my guys, you always want to get quality reps over bad reps. So if somebody makes me do something, especially if it's something that I love to do leisurely, and I had a bad day doing it or whatever, and then you force me to do more of it, and I'm not in the mood to do it, it's gonna be bad reps anyway, or I'm just not gonna be into it. Rather than you go home on the ride home like, hey, you know what, Bobby, do you want to get some shots up when you get home? I know you had a rough shooting game. You want to get some shots up when you get home? If they say no, they say no. And you know, when you get to that point to where your kid feels like it's not a pressure thing or something that you want them to do, that you're just trying to help them out, they'll start coming to you, and that's what you really want. You want them to come to you, get in the car like, hey, Dad, hey, Mom, when we get home, can you spot me on some shots? Instead of you saying, hey, we're going to get home, you're going to run, you're going to do this. I'll give you guys a quick story. I had a kid that was in the 5th grade, and his dad was really, really adamant about his kid being good. I mean, he would push him. He was one of those guys that you know, before practice would be at 7. I would get there 30 minutes early sometimes due to logistics, and I would see them in the gym working out. He would have a full sweat going, and he's, hey, how long you guys been here? Oh, we've been here the last 30, 45 minutes just getting some shots. Like, he put the kid through a whole workout before a 2-hour practice, which, you know, to other people it looks good, sounds good, but you can tell when a kid wants to do it, and you can tell when a kid didn't want to do it. So with this story, this parent was like this. They would come before practice, stay after practice. And you could just tell that the kid just like exhausted. And it's not something that they wanted to do themselves. They weren't excited and happy about it. I remember one day we were playing in a championship. It was 5th grade championship. So these guys are like 10, 11 years old, I think. And, you know, I'm used to this dad and this kid showing up to games early. They showed up 5 minutes before the game. The kid walked in. He looked like he'd been crying. His shirt was wet and drenched. And I'm asking him, like, hey, man, you know, when he came to the bench, I was like, hey, you been working out? He was kind of hesitated. I was like, hey, have you been working out, Bobby? And he was like, yeah. I said, what you been doing? You been getting some shots? He was like, no, my dad made me run 3 miles before the game. I'm like, what? So I'm like, why did he do that? It's like, well, I had a bad game yesterday in the championship game with my other team, and my dad was kind of mad, so he made me run or whatever because I was slow and I wasn't fast enough, and I kept getting beat to the basket. I'm just like, what is this? So, of course, now we're in my championship game with my team, and guess what? He's already too tired to play, and we lost. So guess what the dad did out of punishment? He's mad the whole game, yelling at him on the sideline, hey, you need to run harder. I'm thinking in my head, dude, you just had the kid, a 10-year-old, run 3 miles before a game. You know, so the kid is tired, and guess what the dad does? He's upset about the kid's performance in the championship game we lost. He had him do some more running. So after the game is over, people are leaving the gym. The dad is over on another court making the kid run ladders and suicides. I'm just thinking, this is just going to be a downward spiral for this kid. And I look up now, he's in the 10th grade. He's behind most of the kids that he's been playing with, or that's been playing with me since the 5th grade. And the dad is never going to figure out that him overly doing it and overly pushing his kid is the reason why he's not growing. Because he's having them do too much. And the kid now, I'm pretty sure, is not into basketball as much as he used to be. So, guys, don't be that parent. Let your kids come to you. Of course, you can push, but, you know, give them a little nudge, but don't push them off the cliff. Okay? Let them come to you. They're going to come to you. The best way, if you really want to get them to do something, make suggestions. And that's the best way to go about doing it. And then you'll see the results a whole lot better. All right? Guys, that is pretty much it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.